Welcome back to the Fight Pit, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year. That is a wrap on 2024. We are moving on to 2025, and that means it's time for the Fight Pit End of the Year episode. Intro music.
Next to the team, yeah, we can handle it. Wait, soon as I go and I step in arenas, they call me the champ. They know what it is.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for joining us again. As always, it is the boys in the house, the Fight Pit. We are here covering all of 2024. This is the end of the year episode. Every year we do the end of the year, give out our awards, do a little recap, look ahead to 2025, give some early predictions, and look back at some of our favorite times, some of our favorite moments. And we actually have our records and everything too. I got all those lined up, and we're gonna cover just about everything as far as what happened in 2024. So excited about it. It's good to see you boys again. Real quick, some intros. We got Drew with High Fight IQ and 12 Gage Miss Maximus, rocking the best shirt that's ever been seen on the Fight Pit. Bada bang. Happy New Year, Gage, and happy holidays. How's everything going so far?
Well, it's been a hot minute since we got the boys together. Hope everyone had a good holidays. Everybody's feeling good, and everyone was surrounded by family and love last week.
Amen, brother. Amen. Downstairs, we got Sean Ryan Sports. We just hung out last week, so hasn't been as long since I got to see you, but happy New Year officially now. How you doing?
Happy New Year. Doing pretty good. Feel older. Just seeing
how's your back doing too, Sean?
The back's doing good. I got the neck procedure coming up in the middle of the month, so I'll be missing a couple weeks later on in for the Fight Pit episodes. It'll be towards the end of January, but I'm going to be missing weeks in the middle of January for our recordings.
Yeah,
that's cool. We'll get some ride-in picks. Picks for you. You definitely have not. You could probably stand to miss a couple cards, and it wouldn't hurt you too bad because you've been absolutely slaying it as far as the picks and everything is concerned. Quick little 2024 recap. So we started out the year. I believe it was Dracus du Plessis and Sean Strickland was the first UFC of 2024.
Okay.
The last, and then the last one was the Pantoja and Asakura card, and a lot happened in between, folks. A lot happened in between. Gage, I'll start with you since it's been the longest for you in the Fight Pit. 2024 in a nutshell. What stood out to you? What are you taking from 2024 that's going to stick with you?
The generations are changing. It's about that time.
That's changing of the guard time, man. It's unfortunate. We did learn that lesson betting on our dogs.
True pioneers of mainstream UFC and MMA are bowing out. Tony Ferguson's still fighting, but he's not the same.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Donald Cerrone, trying to come back, which we've touched on that before.
Yeah.
Volk still was fighting, got knocked out twice this year. Max Holloway's no longer a featherweight. John Jones is still fighting, but he's about the only one left. Like, other than Jim Miller, who I don't think will ever age, apparently, at this point. But I guess him and Clay Guida too. But
right,
if you look at the top 10 of these divisions now, there's very few hanging on. Like Dustin could have been his last fight this year. Says he's got one more. I don't think we'll ever see Conor McGregor fight again. Justin Gaethje sounds like he's got maybe one or two more in him, especially losing the max 300. And Charles Oliveira is 37 years old.
Oh, God.
Like, Beneil Dariush also getting up there in age. It's not going to be the same top 10. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, been there forever. Probably got one more.
41 years old. Jeez.
Honestly, probably say Jeff Neal, getting up there in the years too. Bobby Green. Like,
Very true.
The UFC is going to be looking a lot different in ranking wise, especially going forward.
Absolutely. And trying to, even just looking when I was trying to do the 2025 end of the year champion predictions, I was like, dude, I have no fucking idea on some of these, man. A lot of these divisions are totally up in the air as far as what's going to happen this year. And we did see the
that's not even
retirement
talking
of quite
about
a few.
women's MMA. Like a lot
That's
of
right.
Amanda Nunes.
That's
Waterson Gomez. I can't remember her first name. Michelle Waterson Gomez out. And it's not looking the same.
It's a whole new world, man. Time keeps moving. Ain't that a bitch? We saw some retirements this year from some of the greatest. Not the least of which.
Real quick, Andre Arlovsky. Shout out to Andre. UFC did him dirty.
Oh yeah, yes, Andre Arlovsky. That, oh, man, especially with some of the retirement packages that we saw this year. Michelle Waterson, Stipe didn't get a video tribute. There's so many of the legends, so many of the vets that have been around that hung up the gloves this year, and we're still waiting on their video package. Hopefully they'll get those. And especially with people like Stipe, I'm sure Stipe is going to have a Hall of Fame induction coming in the not too near future. But yeah, it was a crazy year, man. Crazy year. Sean, how's 2024 going to be remembered for you?
I'm going to piggyback off of Gage here, and it's just the killing of our favorites. Volk, he's starting off the year in February getting knocked out by Ilya. Probably my biggest underdog pick of the year, that other than Max Holloway flatlining Justin Gaethje, and now Gaethje probably has one or two more. Dustin Poirier one or two more, even though he says one more, but you just never know. You can't take that as word.
Yeah, it's also Dustin.
It's Dustin too. So it's like he'll get that itch. Yeah, he's one of those guys. If he wins, he'll have that itch to do it again and again. Yeah. So it's just so many of our guys we've grown up watching, and just over just last 5 to 10 years, it's like, and seeing them all getting flatlined the way they did this year. It's not even like they're getting beat; they're getting KO'd, every one of them this year. And it's like, man, this is brutal. Like, even though Dustin's wasn't a KO, he got choked unconscious. It was still, and it was a war of a fight, but it's still like going out the way some of these guys have. Max Holloway's chin has been cracked, and not just cracked, he went out.
Which was not on my 2024 bingo card, let me tell you.
I picked Ilya by decision because I didn't think it was possible. Like, when you see something like that, you just don't think it's possible. But I do think
never being knocked down to being out.
Yeah. Now, I saw this one guy, MMA Guru, he said that when Max gets cracked, he's going to go out cold. He's like, he's not going to be like just wobbled and go down on the ground. He's like, once someone that has that strong of a chin gets cracked, they go out cold. He's like, he said he used like Roy Nelson and Mark Hunt as examples, but they're heavyweights. So it's like talking about the, yes. So it's like, it was a good example. And I was like, just seeing that hurts you. It hurts you. Yeah. So 2024 was like a hurt year for the diehards. It really was.
Yeah,
Indeed.
We saw Charles lose to Armin this year too.
Yeah.
Yeah, or lose. Yeah.
Yeah.
We will circle back to that one. That one is going to come back up at some point in this episode. But
that's
yeah,
not even
dude,
the biggest rivalry of the year.
Oh, for sure. I don't even think it's close.
I got some high hopes for 2025. We'll just.
I think the biggest robbery happened on this last card. Surreal
that
Gone
could be,
versus
Volkov. I was thinking the same
Volkov won
thing.
that fight.
Yeah, that one.
That could have been a 30-27, maybe a 29-28, but
I mean,
How the
to be fair,
fuck?
the worst scorecard of the year has to be the Paulo Costa Sean card.
That was weird. How someone
Yeah,
put
that
30,
has to be the
27?
worst score.
I wouldn't disagree.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
at
absurd.
least they got the right winner.
Yeah,
But
Right.
it's still one guy still had it that way is beyond me.
That's another
Doesn't make sense.
category that I missed too. I missed the upsets. We probably could have done biggest robbery of 2024 too, but
It's between
I don't
one
know.
or two in my eyes.
yeah. Well, I think those are
Yeah.
the only two correct answers.
it's one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. And overall, like I think a lot of our picks and everything too. We, for the most part, nailed everything, but there was just so many like weird fights. Like, I mean, who expected Dracus Duplessis to choke out Adesanya? You know, who expected Ilia Topuria to knock out Max Holloway in the like second round, third round, something like
Third
that? Yeah, there was so many just surprises this year that it was rough. It was rough. Some of them, definitely.
Next to the team, yeah, we can handle it. Wait, soon as I
We will kick it off real quick with our end of the year records, and pretty much leading the pack all year long, we had Sean. Sean finished with a 68% hit rate, followed by Matt with a 64, Kyle with a 62, Gage with a 62, and yours truly finishing with a 61%. The picks record that we had for this entire year, we went 183 and 92 for a 67% hit rate. Our bets, we went 221 and 116 for a 66. So essentially, once we all dropped below 70, we just hovered right at upper 60s. The most fights scored, of course, because, you know, I was here for the most of them. So 264. Sean scored 197 fights. Gage scored 178. Kyle 101 and Matt 90. But finishing just under 70%. Not too shabby. Not too shabby considering
Yeah,
some of that epic
almost
fucking
300 fights, still hitting like over 60s. Better than a lot of people. Better than a lot of people do.
It is not. I mean, you look at 60 and you that me and my, you know, meathead brain, I automatically think that's a D. But when we're talking about, you know, fight picks and going 60, 61, 62, 67, 68, 70% out of however many 300, 200 we all had, it's much harder than it looks. Much harder than it looks. I saw there was a channel that I just came across called UFC Predictions Tracker, I think, something like that on YouTube. But it's somebody who goes through, and I'm going to try to get us on for this next year, but goes through and follows all the picks of all of the channels like ours who do predictions, and then tallies up and compares who did the best. And surprising, considering how bad I thought that I was doing and how low our numbers were compared to what we normally are. We normally hover in the mid 70s at the least, but it's kind of surprising how high up on that list we would have been. Not a lot of people scoring above 50%. Which is, of course, no shade, no hate. Like I said, it's very difficult to do. We've just been doing this so long that we kind of make it feel easy at times, sweeping entire fight night cards and sweeping entire main cards on pay-per-views and hitting crazy dogs. Gage, shout out to Gage. Gage is a dog hunter. This Dog the Bounty Hunter this year, he hit. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah,
if we go back
like a
and
month
tally
straight,
up,
I was hitting Dog of the Week.
yes. Oh, that's right. The dogs and the locks of the week. I didn't even tally those on there. I'll cover that one on the next one too. Get an update on it, or I can actually. I'll probably post
Dog of the Year, GM3. Big shout out.
GM3, dude. If you guys have, I haven't looked at what his record was for this year, but dude, he did so much better than I thought he would, and he covered as a dog in almost every single one. GM3, absolutely. One of the best one of the best underdogs to bet in the year 2024, hands down.
Next to the team, yeah, we can handle it. Wait, soon as I go.
2024 award categories that I picked. If there's any of them that you want to throw out that I missed, as we go, any extra shout outs or honorable mentions, just let me know. But we're just going to go one at a time through each of them, and we'll just get everybody's pick for each one. The 2024, let's just start it off with a bang. We will go 2024 knockout of the year. Mine probably going to be pretty predictable, so I'll let Sean start with this one. Sean, let us know who you got for 2024 knockout of the year.
I'm just going Max Holloway, pointing at middle of the octagon, UFC 300, possibly the biggest event ever created in all of mixed martial arts, and just stealing the show away from everyone and everything on that insane card. And just the way, with when you do submission and knockout a year, you have to talk about what's at stake too. Like, that's what makes it even more. And he had the fight won 100%, and he decided to screw it. Let's do it anyway. It's the BMF for a reason. And it's Max Holloway. You could honorable mention Ilya Topuria over Max Holloway for knocking out the Unbreakable. Like, you got to give an honorable mention, but I just have to go Max over Justin Gaethje, UFC 300.
1,000,000% agree. 1,000,000% agree.
Yeah,
I got the same.
Also very predictable. It's got to be Max. It became iconic. It dominated the sport after that. You tried, the sincerest form of flattery is mimicry, and everyone and their mother that is in combat sports tried to do the Max Holloway after that. People in the streets fighting were trying to do it. And if that is a year-defining moment, and Max Holloway's had plenty of defining moments, but that took over.
Facts. That was a lifetime defining moment for me, and that's saying a lot, because we collectively, we've got like 100 years of watching MMA experience under our belts, and Max Holloway versus Justin Gaethje, that's awesome enough. That would have been enough to just be like a memorable moment. Having Max Holloway moving up to fight for the BMF belt at 155, that would be memorable enough. Having him do it at UFC 300, memorable enough. Having Max Holloway dominate Justin Gaethje for the entire fight, the entire 24 minutes and 50 seconds, that would have been enough. But to cap it off like that, having Max Holloway just throw caution to the wind and say, one of the scariest dudes in lightweight history, here's your chance, dude. You got 10 seconds. I'm going to just open the door and we'll see what happens. That was the most, in my opinion, the most epic fucking moment that has ever happened in UFC. There's been a lot of them. I think that one tops it, 100%. Honorable mention, I will say that Shara Magomedov's double spinning back fist has a place in my heart, because that was just fantastic. So cool. You guys have any other honorable mentions you want to throw out there before we move on?
Take your pick of Alex Pereira fights.
UFC 301 was sick. That whole sequence was sick.
And then the memeing him afterwards. Oh, that was brutal.
Jamal Hill's now Antonio Brown. It's unbelievable.
Oh, I love that.
If you hit someone into CTE, yeah, you got it.
That, again, when we get to the 2025 predictions and matchups, I'm sure that one's coming back around too. When we got 2024 submission of the year, I'll start on this one because, as I was saying before we got going, this is one of my bias picks. It's one of the ones that I'm sure nobody had as the submission of the year except for me, but Anthony Fluffy Hernandez on Roman Kopylov. Let's go! Boom! I was pretty. Yeah, I was pretty certain that that one was going to be like, pretty far down the list, maybe fifth or so. Given the circumstances, Islam and Dustin, the Twister from Damon Blackshear, a lot of ones I could see people putting ahead of it, but I'm going full NorCal bias. Fluffy gets mine. Gage, who you got for yours?
It may be a little bit of recency bias, but the statement behind it was overwhelming. I'm going Khamzat Chimaev, putting down Robert Whittaker in the first round.
Great one. That's a great one.
We just never know with Khamzat. But we know what we get with Rob, and we thought, this could be the one, and he just every single time runs through who we think might stop him, and he did it with an exclamation point. And we all watched Bobby Knuckles fight a very long time. Not an easy dude to get to tap.
Not at all. Not at all. And I just recently saw that one back, like in its entirety, and how fast Robert Whittaker tapped on that once he got it locked in. I mean, you saw how messed up his teeth were, but
almost in the back of his mouth.
Yeah. I can't believe how quickly that happened. Like, he had it locked in across the face for 2-3 seconds, maybe. Incredible. The squeeze on that dude is no joke. Sean, give us your sub of the year, brother.
My honorable mention will have to be Islam Makhachev, because obviously championship fight, 5th round. If it goes to decision, people are going to be saying like, "Oh, you went to decision with Dustin Poirier. He's not what he used to be," or whatever. And the way he did it, he just flung him by the bottom of the foot and then just got on him and got the submission and put him out cold. He tapped, but then he went out cold anyway. So that's honorable mention. But I am going to go with Gage. Everyone was talking about how Khamzat versus Kamaru Usman was like, hey, Robert Whittaker's going to dominate this because he's just a bigger, better version of possible Kamaru Usman. And Khamzat Chimaev said no. Just went in there, got on him instantly, and then just said, I don't even need the neck. I'm just going to crush your face. That's it. I'm going to break your jaw.
Oh, I do want a special shout out, Dracus, for
that's a huge one.
Yeah,
that's a huge one for him. And
he was losing the fight.
It's the most impressive, but still huge moment against potentially the greatest to do it in that weight class.
Yep. Yeah.
And being down on the cards.
And being down on the cards.
Losing.
Big moment, big step up. So we got to give that a little shout out.
Yep.
And wasn't really trending in his direction either. He just found that opening and took it. And that's what you got to do to beat somebody like Izzy. Hands down, very solid picks, very solid contenders this year. And I don't disagree with Khamzat over Robert Whittaker at all, because that was just capital B brutal. Fight of the year. Now, this one, me and Sean were bouncing back and forth on it before we started recording. Some interesting nominees on this one. I looked through a lot of the awards that were given out for different places, MMA World Awards, and Forbes. I noticed that Forbes had some very interesting ones. Not a whole lot of Fight of the Year nominees on different people's lists that I would have seen, but this one, I think it's pretty, well, for the most part, pretty cut and dry. Gage, why don't you kick us off on this one? Who do you got Fight of the Year?
It's so hard. I don't want to say Max and Justin, but it's just so hard not to, because of how good that fight was. God. Islam Dustin was also great. But I think, crazy as this is going to sound, I think I got to go Charles and Michael Chandler.
I like that.
I love that fight, from the build-up, the pacing. Yes, Charles dominated, but it was entertaining to watch. And I just like both of those fighters. Good fight. Nothing into it. Just flat out entertaining. and a lot of fights that were really good fights hurt me this year. So
Yeah, understandable. And that one being a 5-rounder could have probably sealed it too, because that's another reason I was saying, like, people who do their awards from like October to October, this Chandler and Oliveira fight.
Hold on, fuck what I just said. Oh, the Mikel Orobite fight and Matus Rebecki without a doubt. What am I even thinking? No,
there was two I was thinking. That was one.
Fight of the year. I completely almost glazed over that.
Yep, Oralby and Rebecki definitely got to get their just dues, because I did not see them on very many nominations, and that is just criminal. They had one of the most brutal fights, one of the craziest fights you will ever see.
An absolute 3-round war. And it could have went either way. It could have went either way. It was great.
And I think Sean mentioned earlier, I think that one might have been on the prelims too.
Yes.
Prelim fight of the year.
It was not main card.
Fucking beautiful, dude. Fucking beautiful. Mine, between Oralby and Rebecki, and the one that I actually am going to go with, Zellhuber and Ribovics at the Sphere. That one was as great as, like I said, neck and neck, dude. Very difficult to choose between those two. But for me, I just, with the whole event and the atmosphere and everything that was going on, the Sphere, the only time anybody's ever been there for fights, and just the stage that was set for something crazy to happen, some big moments on that card. Not a whole lot of them on that one, like super memorable. Had 2 decisions in the title fights, and I feel like Zellhuber and Ribovics was one of the few times when I'm watching a fight and I'm like, dude, I have no idea what's going to happen. This is insane. This is crazy. This is madness. And so just the swinging, the tide shifts on that one too, just so back and forth. And as soon as you think one guy's got it in the bag, he rocks the other dude, and then he's on the finishing path. And it was just, I can't believe that one made it to a decision, but I'm glad it did. That one's going to be my fight of the year. Sean, who do you got for fight of the year, brother?
I got Oralby versus Rebecki. I was kind of caught up between the two you had there, Drew. But some that Gage talked about are honorable mentions too. They fill out my top 5, but 1 and 2, you could pick either one. I'm more into the all-out war where both people look like complete meatloaf at the end of it. Like, and that's what happened there. Those two did not look like the same people when they walked out of that octagon by any means. And that's most of the time how you're going to get fight of the year. Most of the time it's not going to be a technical bout winning fight of the year, but that was just 2 guys saying, screw it, let's do it.
Yes. Beautiful. It's so beautiful when that happens. And just the way that they end it reminded me of Shogun versus Hendo, where they both started the fight with white shorts, and at the end both of their shorts were red. Insane. Beautiful stuff. Shout out to everybody who put on the fight of the year candidates for us this year. We appreciate you putting yourselves out there like that for us, for our entertainment. Next one up. Oh, this can be a tough one. We're going 2024 Fighter of the Year. I felt like it was still pretty cut and dry, but a lot of people felt otherwise. Sean, we'll start it with you on this one. Who do you got for 2024 Fighter?
So I got a man and a woman for this. I do have a couple honorable mentions, but I got one for each. For the guys, I'm going Alex Pereira. 3 title fights, 3 knockouts, 3 main events. You can't really do much more than that, but you do have Ilia Topuria as the honorable mention, having the best 1-2 finishes, I think, in UFC history. I saw someone had a list of some of the other ones that could be 1-2 finishes, but so it's tough. You could pick either one of those two, but I'm going to lean Alex Pereira because some of those were short notice too. So it's like he saved cards on top of it, put on shows, and UFC 300. We didn't know he was fighting until like 4 weeks out. We didn't know he was in the main events. if like they didn't have a main event for all the way up until we got to like late March.
You also got
And then
to like realize Alex is not young, like not a young dude.
No, and he's doing this like the way he's doing this now is unbelievable. And for the women, I put Kayla Harrison. Like I was looking at them, and I was like looking. A lot of women only fought once, or they went 1-1. She went 2-0, came into the UFC, finished Holly Holm, and dominated her next fight. Didn't get the finish, but it was a 30-27. So I was like, and she's the number one contender. Pretty cut and dry there. Is like she owned the women's this year.
Absolutely. Gage, what you got?
I also did the same thing for men and women. For the men, Shama. Come on. Shama. Honorable mention though, Caio Barrio had an insane year. An absolutely insane year. He fought 3 times, won all 3 times, and he looked phenomenal doing it. Short notice fights, he's now right in the top 5 after beating Jared Cannonier. So he's from getting into the rankings this year to breaking the top 5 in the same year is crazy. And gotta shout that out. And just a quick little honorable mention. He's not gonna be fighter of the year by any regards. But shout out John Silva again. Just crazy banger fights, short notice fights. That whole team crazy.
Yeah.
But women fighting, I'm not gonna do champions here. I'm not gonna do number 1 contenders either. My women fighter of the year is Tatiana Suarez.
Ooh.
And with an honorable mention of, this is going to be crazy, Jillian Robertson.
Let's go.
She has stepped up her game. Won her, I think she fought 2 or 3 times this year. Won them all. Looked very good on the ground. More comfortable on her feet. And that's improvement. And she's moving up in the rankings. So I think that's consistent. Know what you're getting with her now. That whenever I watch the fights or I have to pick the fights and just looking repeatedly at her stats and how she's been fighting this year, I got to give her props as well.
Amen to that, brother. Amen. Yes, Jillian Robertson, 3 fights in 2024. Poliana Viana, Michelle Watterson, and Luana Pinheiro all wins. So excellent honorable mention. I will second that. Jillian Robertson. I am all in. Mine, of course, I gotta go Alex Pereira as well. Shama. I can understand the argument for having to be Ilia Topuria or any of the other people that they were throwing out there, but to me, I feel as though stepping in short notice, getting 3 knockouts, especially against the guys that he was going up against, Jamal Hill, Yuri Prochaska, and Khalil Roundtree Jr. I challenge anybody to fight all 3 of those dudes in 1 year and end up winning, let alone getting a KO, TKO on all of them. Just fantastic work. And like you guys mentioned, you hit the nail on the head. He is not a spring chicken at all. He's doing everything that he's done in like, what, 4 or 5 years?
About your age, Drew. Yeah, he's about your age.
Yeah, he's getting very old. Absolutely. But just being able to not only just what he's done in this year, but what he's done overall, like 2 division champion, multiple title defenses in 1 year, multiple KO wins in 1 year. Insane. Being able to knock out Volk and Max Holloway in the same year, not throwing any shade at that at all, because that's a monumental accomplishment. And as far as the women too, Kayla Harrison just absolutely dominating the game, doing what we knew that she was going to do when she got here. Fantastic work. Shout out to Valentina Shevchenko for getting back to the belt too. I don't know how many people expected that to happen. I wasn't one of them, but yeah, boom. Dogs, telling you, all year.
I
all
won. I
year.
won $500 on that fight. It was great.
Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, that was just fantastic work. Fantastic work from everybody. But I got to go with Alex Poatan Pereira on that one.
A lot of Brazilian fighters getting shout outs for Fighter of the Year. Diego Lopez too.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just been overshadowed, but he had a fantastic year.
He was in the running, yeah, absolutely. He's gonna come back around too. And as you mentioned too, fighting nerds, bro. Like,
I mean,
Kyle
that's spoiler
Barrio.
for later, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
John Silva, Carlos Pratis, dude.
Kyle Barrio, just dogs.
Dogs, absolute dogs, bro.
Next to the team, yeah, we can handle it. Wait, soon as I go.
Next one up. Oh, speak of the devil, we got 2024 Breakout Fighter of the Year. No surprise where I'm going on this one. I am going with Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez, 3 fights, 3 wins, 1 short notice, 1 on 4 hours notice. Going from, I can't remember what he was ranked. I don't even know if he was ranked at the beginning of this year.
He was not ranked at the beginning of the year.
Oh, dude, going from unranked to number 3 in the division in 1 year. Only other time I recall seeing that was Cody Garbrandt going from unranked to champion.
He went unranked to 12 and then was going to fight Ortega, then fought Ige, and which Dana loved, so Dana bumped him up to 9, I think, and then 9 or 6, and then fought Ortega, beat Ortega. Yeah, now
Stellar
you're
year.
Now you're gonna
Stellar
fight.
year.
You're gonna fight for the belt, probably.
Got to, bro. Got to. Honorable mention, of course, Carlos Pratis. The other one that I saw on a lot of people's awards and nominations was Tom Aspinall. And the only reason that I didn't go with Aspinall is because I feel as though we already knew Tom Aspinall was about to be the fucking man last year.
Kyle said it all last year.
Facts. Shout out to Kyle. Shout out to the Gold Mule. Called Tom Aspinall all the way through to the top, baby. All the way through to the top. Gage, who do you got for Breakout Fighter?
Is it wrong to say Ilya here? Like,
I wouldn't disagree.
He really wasn't too talked about going into that title fight, and now he's just dominant. Like it's crazy how little buzz he was generating going into that Volk fight, and now how he kind of took over 145 in a year. So
very true.
You know, usually you like think breakout with people that are getting into the rankings or moving up, but to do that what he did, and now he's garnering a lot of buzz. Good for him. I think he deserves every bit of it. And special shout out to, of course, the boy himself, Peyton Talbot.
Boom. That's what I'm talking about, baby. We are, I am going to say right off the bat, I think 2025 year-end awards next year, Peyton Talbot's going to be mentioned quite a bit.
Yeah, Peyton blew up with that knockout. All his fights blew up online. Good for him.
Yeah.
And his sellies are getting notoriety too. So.
The best. Yeah. He's the coolest fucking dude. Coolest dude in the UFC.
Very well deserving.
If it wasn't for Diego Lopez breaking into the top 5 in the fashion that he did, Peyton Talbot would probably be my pick for Breakout Fighter of the Year. Try not to be too biased, because otherwise I would pick Peyton Talbot for fucking everything. But putting out Simon, and then Gamori, and there was one other one I think too.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. Peyton Talbot at the very top of the honorable mentions. Sean, who do you got for Breakout Fighter of the Year, brother?
Someone you guys haven't mentioned yet, Joaquin Buckley. He had 4 fights, man. 4 fights, 3 finishes. He went from unranked at 170 to now being 1 fight away from the belt. Like he's
top 3, right? Yeah. Wasn't
Yeah.
Colby
Overall
like 4 or
team.
5?
Great poll, Sean. Great poll.
Very.
And he was the last fight of the year, and that's the reason why you got to wait to the end of the year until all the fights are done to make these picks. Because, I mean, Buckley, dude, right now, you put him against Kamaru Usman or Leon Edwards, I'm probably picking Joaquin Buckley.
I would take Joaquin over Kamaru right now for sure.
And I think he would knock out Bilal Muhammad, and the only argument is him versus Shavkat in my eyes. We'll get into that later on, but
I mean, to be fair, Shavkat could be the answer to a lot of these too if he was a little more active.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, and so I think Joaquin Buckley I do think Diego Lopez had a fantastic year. I think he's my second with that. And Ilya Topuria, I do believe 100% should be in that conversation too, even though he wasn't a champ. Then he took out two absolute legends the way he did. That has to.
That's why I had to do it. It's crazy to say, but wild.
No, of course.
I don't know how this is. As a gears of turn, and Shara Bullet too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
And I also I put Kayla Harrison also in here.
Oh yeah.
Because once again, from not being in UFC to all of a sudden she's fighting for the belt because she just dominates anything. Legitimately, she's making Amanda Nunes posting training videos every day now. So you could take a wild guess what's going to be happening next year. Probably. I would be 100%.
We all over that.
We all need the women's divisions need this build up. So I want to keep seeing it. I want to see Amanda Nunes training like a lunatic every day on her socials. So she knows she's not doing that for Juliana Pena.
No,
she ain't doing that. No,
it's for Kayla for sure.
Yeah.
Excellent choices. Love those. And just overall shout out to everybody representing St. Louis. I'm pretty sure all St. Louis fighters went undefeated this year. Very impressive. Wow. Very impressive.
Buckley put that on his back too.
Yep. And shout out to the homie Charles Johnson.
He headlined UFC Fight Night St. Louis too.
Yeah.
That was a fight he won in like 10 seconds. 15 seconds. Yeah.
And Michael Johnson went 2-0, I think, this year.
Yeah.
St. Louis.
Yeah.
How's Michael Johnson still doing it? Good for him.
I think Charles Johnson was either 3 or 4-0 also, including beating TKO over Joshua Van. Yeah, incredible. Shout out to St. Louis. Never been there. Love you guys, though. Next one up, we got Coach of the Year. This one was a little tougher. My pick, of course, is going to be Eric Nixick at Extreme Couture. There was a few other choices that I was battling with, and I went with the bias pick. I love Eric Nixick. I love that camp. I love that gym. I love everything that he's been doing with them. And they've had some hiccups here and there. Sean Strickland dropping it to Dracus Duplessis to start the year. But dude, just looking at all of it, looking at everything as the whole. I mean, you got Dan Ige stepping in on 4 hours notice under Nixick. Just so many great moments, so many great wins, and just one of the best coaches, one of the best minds, and one of the best dudes, I think, in the community, in the MMA space. So Eric Nixick gets my pick for Coach of the Year on this one. Sean, who do you got for Coach of the Year?
All right, got an honorable mention, which is going to be amusing, and then my Coach of the Year. My honorable mention is Khabib Nurmagomedov.
No shot. You fucking Tom.
Oh, you were going Khabib?
I was going Khabib.
You know what's the funny thing is I thought of that maybe like 2 minutes ago. It wasn't even on my paper. I thought of it 2 minutes ago. I was like, Khabib's been doing work with all his dudes.
Dude, that's what I was saying.
Awesome. Yeah.
In my head, I was like, I don't know if they count like it as official coach, but he's there all the time with all these guys that just don't lose.
Yeah, I watched it, and the thing
Shout out to Eagle Gym in Dagestan, dude.
Yeah, legitimately, I just watched the Demetrius Johnson video, the 40-minute video of him with training under Khabib for the day and watching them all, and every last one of Khabib is dogging every last one of them on everything. I'm like, oh, screw this. This is prison. This ain't a gym. God damn. Military don't look that hard. Like, that's some tough shit they got going on.
Great
there.
call.
Yeah, but that's my honorable mention. I got to go Mike Val. I think that's how you pronounce his last name.
Valley.
Out of Chicago. Yeah, Valley. Okay. I wasn't sure if the E was silent there, but out of Chicago, Juliana Pena, new champion. Bilal Muhammad, new champion, even though Khabib did help with the camp, but they're both, the head coach of them is Mike Val. So 2 new champions, quite a few contenders coming up. I do got to give it to them. I think that's who the UFC also gave it to. I don't really like always picking with like UFC and stuff like that, but you did get 2 new champions, and you're setting up a pretty big fight for both people, like Shavkat versus Bilal, Kayla Harrison versus Juliana Pena. So it's like you're getting big fights for your camp net like this next year. So I got to give it to him.
Great call. Gage, who you got?
I have Khabib.
Khabib. That's a very good pick.
Like
That's
I was saying, he's just cranking out people that one loss, no loss, every weight class, just
all fighting, either defending belts or fighting for belts.
It's just superior technique at this point. It's crazy, and the guys coming out of there are ridiculously strong, strong people.
I think he wins it this year, though. Like you look at the first card, Umar and
I mean, my money's on Islam for sure, but it's. I would like to shout out Shuto Box and Mike Brown with American Top Team.
Yep, and also Plino,
yes.
Alex Pereira's coach too. Yes. I think he won it across a couple different publications, but Mike Valley, shout out, Mike Brown, shout out, and definitely Habib and Eric Nixick, the very solid choices.
And as a little funny shout out, Glover Teixeira.
Yeah, there you go. Their camp, man. They got the fighter of the year, bro. They got the fighter of the year for a reason. The next one we got, pretty easy one. We got that.
I don't think we're gonna differ from here.
Yeah,
so,
this one won't take too long.
Everyone go on 3. 1, 2, 3. Fighting nerds.
Fighting nerds. Yep. Yeah.
Okay, there was no argument.
Right.
Very easy. Dude, Kyle Barrio, Carlos Pratis, Gene Silva, Mauricio Rufy, the one female fighter, I can't remember.
Oh, yes. Yeah, she won her fight too this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Killing it.
That camp is disgusting. Like, you're going to have them versus Eagle MMA soon. That's it.
Dude,
that's it.
Level coming out of all the young talent coming out of there is insane.
Absolutely.
And they're all exciting.
Yeah, they're all good fights, and they're dominant. Look at what John Sullivan did against Drew Dober, a weight class up on short notice.
Yep.
Dominant.
Carlos Pratis, I think 4 fights, 4 knockouts in 2024.
His striking is just levels above the competition he was going against. It was absurd. Knocked out
Radke and Neil Magny back to back, I believe.
Yes.
And just brutal. Shout out to the fighting nerds. You are doing it right, guys. And we'll finish it off with UFC Card of the Year. This one, I think, there might be a little bit of debate on this one too, but I think we got the same 3 or 4 in mind. Gage, I'll let you kick us off on this one.
300.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It was just, I don't know. Dana did everything he could. I have the spears up there with the atmosphere and everything. Mm-hmm. But the last 2 fights of that card with Merab and Valentina left a lot to be desired.
Right.
Although the undercard on that was objectively could have been better than the 300 card. The last card we had was a banger too. Could be recency biased. But that was a great card. The one what was it? 310 was the one in Dubai.
308.
I mean, Abu Dhabi. Yeah, that was a great card too. But I think 300, just top to bottom, you can make that argument every day that 3 of those fights could have been fight of the year.
Facts. And I do want to give an honorable mention shout out to I can't remember what card it was exactly, but I believe it was the one in France. Dude, every single time they have an event out there, those people show the fuck out. It's like they had a fight night there, and you would have thought it was UFC 300. How insane the atmosphere was, and just the overall performances that people put on out there too. I was talking with one of the coaches, Jim West, and he was saying that even in Bellator, when Bellator goes there, it's like the Super Bowl, dude.
I have seen something interesting. The biggest letdown card of the year.
Good call.
Which I think would be the London card, the UK card.
Yeah.
Would have to be the biggest letdown. Yeah, Tommy Aspinall did his thing, but other than that, also shout out Oban Elliott, who's coming on. Great, had a great showing in that card too. It was a rough card.
Yeah, though there was definitely a couple letdowns too. I'm gonna have to second that. I gotta say UFC 300. It was billed as the greatest card of all time for a reason. Like Gage said, top to bottom, absolute bangers. I think Aljamain Sterling against Calvin Kattar was the only decision for like most of the card.
Yeah. Also, on the early prelims was Cody No Love and Davison Figueiredo.
First fight of the night.
Like, okay.
Insane,
well, that was
dude.
A great fight.
It was. They all were just banging, dude. They were banging. It was a fucking great night, most memorable night of my life, and there's been quite a few of them in the UFC since. But UFC 300 having just, I said it before too. Whenever it happened back in March, having Alex Pereira get a first round knockout in the main event, and then having Weili Zhang just one of the craziest fights against Yan Xiaonan in the co-main event, 2 title fights that were just completely overshadowed by Max Holloway and Justin Gaethje for the BMF belt.
Also, we got a Jim Miller fight.
Oh yeah, Jim Miller. Shout out to Jim Miller. Jim Miller definitely wins the longevity award, being 100, 200, and 300.
Phenomenally too.
And still winning, still covering as a dog, bro. Another dog.
Jim fucking Miller.
Jim fucking Miller. Yes, please, somebody sack up in 2025 and announce him as Jim fucking Miller already. Come on, we don't have much time left, guys. You got to make it happen. Sean, what's your pick for card of the year, brother?
UFC 300. It's more a question of like who's second and third. Like UFC 300 was a national holiday. Like this last year, like I was looking forward to. You had like 4th of July. I always love 4th of July. You have Christmas and Thanksgiving. But in 4th place in my holidays was UFC 300. So like Easter could go fuck himself. It's like this is UFC 300 was this big.
Like, I don't know what y'all did for 300, but I like went out with friends, like to a watch party. We went out to go watch this fight.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I had a few people over, and we from the first prelim all the way to the main event. Definitely a couple drinks, 1 or 2 or a lot more. Like just how it goes.
Hey, let me terminate yourself here, Sean.
Yeah.
We did the watch party, had people that don't even really follow the sport at all, just absolutely floored with what they were watching. And me included, when that Max Holloway knockout landed, I was literally laying on the floor in disbelief. That was just one of the best cards, one of the best moments, one of the best fights, one of the best knockouts, just everything. That card had absolutely everything that you could ask for. Beautiful. And then also shout out to the Sphere, Shout out to that 3-card run, 298, 299, 300. Those were just fantastic back-to-back cards. Any other final thoughts, boys?
Yeah, the shout out to Buckley versus Covington. The last 4 fights of that main card all ended in TKO KO. That's how we end off the year, with 4 TKO KOs in a row.
Good job. The third round too.
Yeah, and I had that as my 3rd favorite card of the whole year. It might be recency biased also, but that was my 3rd favorite. I had that one. I had 308 because 308 had bangers everywhere. Obviously, the main event, heartbreaker for all of us, but it's still great moments for UFC and fighting in general. But then I would have Buckley versus Covington as my 3rd favorite card the whole entire year. Like, the prelims were awesome.
Yeah, that's a good call. And shout out to UFC 303 with Poatan and Yuri saving the day again.
Yeah.
That one ended up being a pretty awesome card, given what it was supposed to be versus what it ended up being. Fantastic cards this year. That is going to wrap up 2024. We're now going to look ahead to 2025 and give our predictions for who we think will be champion come this time next year. We will start it off. I'm just going to go top to bottom. Start at the UFC heavyweight division. I think we're all probably pretty unanimous on this one. I'm going to kick it off with Tom Aspinall. Gage, who you got?
Tommy.
Yep. Sean?
Tom Aspinall.
Easiest one, I think. Next one, probably not as easy. Light heavyweight division champion at the end of 2025. Sean, I'll let you start us.
I screwed this up last year and picked Jamal Hill, so I'm going to just screw it up again, and I'm going to say Magomed Ankalaev.
I like it. Gage, who you got on this one, brother?
Part of me just wanted to say Alexander Rokic. Just part of me wanted to do it. Shama.
I like it. This one.
I'm not saying he might not lose this year, but I'm saying he ends the year with that fucking belt. That's all I'm saying.
I don't disagree with that either. This one I think is kind of up in the air depending on what happens. Mine, I'm going out on a limb. I'm going to say that Alex Pereira maybe fights one more time and then retires or relinquishes the belt, and then it's up for grabs. And I think by that time, I think that Khalil Roundtree fights somebody for the belt again. And I think that this time next year, Khalil Roundtree has the belt. Very, very long odds on that one, I'm sure, since he's, currentently sitting at like number 8 or something like that. But I don't know, man. I think out of everybody that faced Pereira, I think that Khalil Roundtree did the best. And I think that if he gets another crack at it, he's probably going to have learned some lessons. He's got the experience in. I think they put him up against, someone like Ankalaev or Prochaska or Jamal Hill. I think
legitimately Khalil probably fights Rokic next.
I would like that. I would like that a lot. But yeah, for me in this one, I think it's yes, me too. But I think that Pereira fights maybe one more time or so, ends up vacating the belt, and then it's up for grabs. And my hopes is that Khalil Roundtree is in that mix. Middleweight champ at the end of 2025. I'm going to kick us off with one Mr. Khamzat Chimaev. Gage, who you got middleweight champ?
Caio Borralho.
Oh, that's a good pick. That's a good pull.
I like it.
That's a good it.
Hell yeah, baby. Oh. Who you got, Sean?
I think I'm going to go Khamzat Chimaev here, but I wanted to go Drew Plessis because he's like that drunken fighter. He just knows how to find a way to win. It's not clean. It's not good, but he wins by any means. But I'm going to go with Khamzat Chimaev. I think he does. I think he fights like June, July, and he may not fight again the rest of the year. So
I feel
He's
that.
gonna
I could
fight
see
if he wants
that.
to.
I could see that. I could see Sean Strickland getting the belt back from Duplessis if things go the same way that the first one did. And then I think that Hamzat Chimaev has to get a title shot next or, very, very soon.
I would be surprised if Sean beats Hamzat, to be full disclosure.
Yeah. Any which way it goes, I think that Hamzat Chimaev is going to have it at some point. But I'm betting on the very end of the year, Hamzat's going to be the one. Welterweight. I am going with Shavkat Rakhmonov. I don't see any way that dude is not fighting for the belt, and I really don't see who beats him at this point. Sean, who you got for this?
That last fight made me really think that Bilal has a good shot against him, but Bilal just hasn't gone against people with power. Like, you look at some of his fights, he hasn't really gone against guys with powers, and if he does, he gets them to the ground. You can't really get Shavkat to the ground very easily.
Shavkat's ground game is phenomenal, too.
Yeah, it's like, and even if you land a submission, he gets out of it.
He also just towers over
Everything.
Bilal. And if we learn anything from this year and years past, if in your ground game, if you're just straight up longer and have bigger reach, it makes your submission game a lot tougher.
Yeah,
and it's a lot tougher to get you into spots.
Yep. Yeah, I got to go with Shavkat. I'm not 100% confident.
Bilal doesn't try to submit people or finish people. Who am I getting?
Yeah, no. Yeah. Bilal remembered the decision.
Good point. Gage, who you got?
Shavkat.
Shavkat. Unanimous. Beauty. Beauty.
I do have another project. I think crazy as how much I talk shit about this person as a fighter. I think the last fight in this division next year is going to be Ian Gary against Shavkat for the belt.
That would be dope. I could see that.
Oh, I have another name.
Go
for it. Joaquin Buckley, man. Like, he's only one fight away from fighting for the title.
There you go. Good call.
I don't know. I think Shavkat's a buzzsaw right now, dude. It's tough.
He is, but look at how much muscle that man has. It's
but Joaquin is like 5'8", dude.
I know, but it's just one.
It's such a bad matchup. But hey, to be fair, you say that against Joaquin every time, and he just puts people out. So.
Man, Joaquin is like short for lightweight. So I mean, he's just a powerful dude, and he's getting better with the grappling. Every fight, he's getting better.
He is.
Look against Colby. Like, he's stuffed. He's like so much better.
Yeah.
And Joaquin Buckley lands on anybody.
Yeah.
If he lands on anybody,
I think it's between those two. I think we're pretty solid there.
Oh, that would be such a sick fight. Rakhmonov versus Buckley 2025, folks. You heard it here first. Lightweight. I'll let Gage, you can kick us off on this one.
Islam Makhachev.
Good call. Sean?
Oh, wait, no. Fuck that. Fuck what I just said. Charles Oliveira.
Please. Yes, I knew it was coming. Let's go. Let's fucking go.
My brain started speaking before my heart could register what I wanted.
You threw me for a second. I was like, wait a minute. Oh,
yeah, that was my brain talking and not the rest of my emotion.
Yeah. Oh, great save. Sean, who you got?
I'll go the exact opposite. I'll go with my brain and not my heart. I'm going Islam Makhachev.
Good call. I am definitely going to go with Charles Oliveira. The champ has a name still, and it's still Charles Oliveira, baby. I think that either which way that Islam and Sarukian goes, Charles Oliveira has to be next, and he's fought both of them already and lost to both of them already. But
he lost to Islam. Don't get that twisted. He lost to Islam.
Definitely lost to Islam. Did not lose to Sarukian.
I did like in Charles' last fight. He was very aggressive with the wrestling. I did like to see that.
Yeah, that's true. He was like the first time that they fought each other and everything, he had the moments where he was on his back, or he was on the defense all through the 5 rounds of the second fight with Chandler. He was in the driver's seat on that one. So
which
that
has
was
been everyone's big knock against Charles.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's pretty telling too. I think that he's going to be able to make adjustments. So
Yes.
I'm going with Charles Oliveira too. Where are we at? Featherweight. I'm going out on a limb here. I'm going to say Diego Lopez is the champ at the end, because I think that
Done.
Ilia Topuria gets maybe one more fight at 145, and then I think he vacates and tries to go to 155. So I'm going to say that it's open. I'm going to say Diego Lopez fights Yair Rodriguez, Volk, Max Holloway, somebody up there for the vacant belt. And I think Diego Lopez has an even more of a breakout year in 2025.
Yeah, let's look in the crystal ball here. If Ilia doesn't vacate, it's going to be Ilia Topuria. But
Right.
stars are pointing he's going to go up. But I do think the title fight after it's vacated is going to be Alexander Volkanovski against Diego Lopez. And I think Diego Lopez wins.
Great call. Nailed it. Who you got, Sean? Featherweight?
I think he is going to stick around this year, and he's only a 2-fight guy a year. He's going to do the Volk rematch and Diego Lopez, but after that, I think he's going to get out of there. But I think he's going to be, at the end of this year, he'll still be featherweight, or he'll be the last title fight of this. So I'm going to say Ilyas sticks around and holds it. But I agree with Gage. If he's here, he's the champ. No one's beating him.
Yeah, we're
But
just
if he
kind of
moves
trying
up,
to read the tea leaves here.
Yeah.
That's a good call. I can see that. I could see either of those happening. Either way, I think Diego Lopez is getting the title fight very, very soon. Next one, bantamweight. Mine is a long shot. I'm going to say Sugar Sean O'Malley regains the belt in 2025. Sean, who you going?
I think whoever wins on UFC 311 is going to be the champ at the end of the year.
Merab or Umar?
But I'm leaning Umar just because Coach Khabib and all these zeros and like, how the fuck do you beat these guys? Like, it's hard. But Merab is unstoppable too. So it's definitely the fight I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, it's gonna be
on 311. So I'm leaning Umar. I think that's who I'm going to go with. But if Merab wins the fight, he's ending the year as champ in my eyes.
Great call. Gage, who you got?
Yeah, Sean kind of hit the nail on the head there. It's hard not to lean Umar, but as much as I would love to say Sugar Sean or Corey Sandhagen, it's gonna be Merab Dvalishvili.
Yeah.
Dr. Merab.
My bad, I lost my place. Yeah, I think I could see any of those guys having it, really. That division is just so fucking stacked, bro. So fucking stacked. The last one of the men's, we got flyweight. No surprises here. I'm going to say Alexander Pantoja keeps it through 2025. Gage, who you got?
This division is such a shit show every year.
It's tough.
Such a shit show every year. I'm going to go Brandon Moreno.
Let's go. Vamos. That's what I'm talking
baby.
about. Let's go. Sean, who you got?
I'm going Pantoja.
Pantoja. It's tough, man. It's tough. I don't know who the hell they're gonna have him fight next, but I think Kai Car France is the only one in the top 5 he hasn't fought yet.
Yeah.
Nut.
And he's on what, a 1-fight win streak?
Yeah. Kai looked good in our last fight, though.
He did, but I think he's only on a 1-fight win streak, though. That's the issue. It's like that's
I'm
what
going
they're
through
pushing.
names. I'm just like, do I want to say Steve Erceg? No.
Yeah, it's
I
a
just
tough.
someone that's been there is gonna get it. That's why I said Moreno, because I think Pantoja moves on, dude. I think he gets bored. I just think he get bored.
I could see that
Moreno,
happening.
like I think they just at the point like I'm done with this.
But he's getting those pay-per-view points, and he's beating all these guys he can handle, and he can make this weight easily. So it's like,
I mean, but
Does
look
he
at
real
David
drill?
Figueiredo had a
yeah,
sick run at 145.
yeah,
Facts.
yeah.
Facts. Great call. I like it. Moving on to the women's, we got women's bantamweight. This probably not going to be any surprises on this one. I can assume we're probably going to be unanimous on this one. Women's bantamweight, I'm going Kayla Harrison. Sean, who you got?
I want to be funny and just say Amanda Nunes.
Oh,
I-
stop taking my picks, John.
I want to be funny and say it, but I think that might have to wait to the following year. I'm gonna go Kayla Harrison.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
unanimous.
Gage.
It's Kayla. It's Kayla.
Yeah, I agree too. I didn't want to be the one to say it, but I think it depends on what Amanda Nunes does. If Amanda Nunes comes back, that throws a whole wrench into it. But that's Kayla Harrison's division right now, dude.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Women's flyweight. This one, I am actually going to say that Valentina Shevchenko retires this year and Alexa Grasso regains the belt at some point against somebody. Sean, who you got on that one?
I cannot pronounce her name, but the French lady.
Macy
Fiorot.
Chiesa.
Manon Fior.
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
Fiora. Yeah, she's taller than everyone in the division. She stopped every takedown in her last fight. Was it Macy Barber, if I'm correct? And she stuffed every takedown. Her strike, she outstruck Rose Namajunas. I know Rose had a broken finger, but it's like she's outstriking the strikers. She's out wrestling the wrestlers. If she fights Valentina, I still think she beats Valentina at this point. She's so much bigger and taller. But if Valentina retires and she's the champ either way.
I like it. I was very close to saying Manon Fior for that one, but I ended up going biased again. I like Alexa Grasso the best. So I think that Valentina Shevchenko retires, and then it's maybe Grasso versus Fior for the vacant belt. But yeah, either Grasso or Fior. I could see either of them having it. Absolutely. Gage, who you calling for the flyweight?
I have Valentina Shevchenko sticking around for another year.
Solid. And also,
I will say, I do think she fights twice this year, wins them both, and then after the second fight, he's done. But I don't think they will have a new champion before the year's out. So I think at the end, like the last non-vacant position will be Valentina Shevchenko.
I agree. I like that. Last one up, we got women's straw weight. This one I think is going to be decided very early in the year. I'm going with Tatiana Suarez.
I am also going Tatiana Suarez.
Yeah.
I've been saying Tatiana Suarez for a long time, but today I decided to change my mind and go Zhang Weili last minute.
Ooh, threw us for a loop. I've
been all last year I was saying Tatiana Suarez 100%, but for some reason I really like Zhang Weili's ground game now. Like I think it'll be enough and on the feet Tatiana Suarez is not good. She's not good on the feet at all. And that's where if she doesn't get these takedown submission quick, she's going to be finished.
Agreed. And she's had the time to work on it too, but
yeah,
just bad luck for Tatiana Suarez this year. I think she probably definitely would have already fought for it if things went different.
Yeah, it would have been very, very telling as well.
Yep. Great calls, gentlemen. I do like that. Zhang Weili, who knows how much longer she's going to be doing it, but she's been at the top ever since she got here, and That's going to be tough to dethrone her, especially Tatiana Suarez having that time off, and but still looked good in the ones that she did have. Still looked
she
good.
came back from that injury pretty well this year, but
Yeah,
went right back on the shelf.
So tough. Beautiful picks, gentlemen. I like it. I think we're hitting on a lot of those.
Next to the team, yeah, we can handle it.
And that's going to take us to the last segment, 2025 Dream Matchups. This is going to be fun. We're not going to limit it to any weight class or any rankings or anything like that. Just any kind of dream matchups that you want to see happen this year. The obvious choices, I think we're all going to be unanimous on. The first one that I will throw out there, I want to see either Chandler versus McGregor, and if McGregor doesn't come back, I want to see Michael Chandler be Max Holloway's next fight at 155.
Ooh,
that's going to be my...
I like that.
I'm going to try not to... I have a whole list here. I'm going to try not to overlap and take any of your guys's, so I'll throw that one out there first. Gage, I'll let you hit us with the next one.
I'm going to counter here and say Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier retirement fight for the BMF belt.
Ooh, I like that. BMF retirement fight. That is beautiful. That's tempting.
Max Dustin round fucking 2, baby. Let's see it.
That is fucking beautiful. With the BMF belt on the line, Dustin Poirier's possible final fight. They were talking about doing
and they're both ranked in the top 10. Like, fucking send it.
Absolutely.
But after 5 months into the year, looking at you, Max Holloway, give it time, please.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Both of them coming off of title fight losses, title fight finishes, and yeah, I can see that happening. Absolutely. Sean, throw one out there for us.
This is a weird one, but we're going to go Peyton Talbot versus Corey Sandhagen.
Oh,
let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay, Sean.
That style is just beautiful. That style is just, I more think about it, I'm like, God damn it, this needs to happen.
I literally had that one typed out, and I tried to spin it a little bit differently. My pick for Peyton Talbot in 2025 is Chito Vera.
Oh, I would like that too.
Yeah, I like that. If he gets through Hani Barcelos, maybe they give Peyton Talbot one more fight in the top 15. I think once he breaks into the top 15, we got to start looking at guys like Chito Vera, Sandhagen, Rob Font, any of those.
Oh, I would like to see Peyton Dan Ige.
Yeah, beautiful one. There's just so much potential with him. Me and Sean talked about it on the last one too. Just give Peyton Talbot the fun fights, man. Make it happen. Yeah. Just start chipping away at it. Worry about the rankings and the title fights and contenders and everything later. Let's just have some fun.
We'll get there.
Oh yeah. So Talbot Chito Vera was my my Talbot fight for that division. The next one I'm gonna throw out there, just since you mentioned Sandhagen already, I got to see Sean O'Malley and Corey Sandhagen at some point. We've been waiting way too long for that. I don't
know how that's not scheduled already, but yeah.
Seriously, dude. Seriously, that's money on the table, bro. Everyone's gonna tune in for that one. To throw in some new contenders here, I want to see Israel Adesanya move up to light heavyweight and fight Khalil Roundtree Jr. in his first light heavyweight fight. I think that given how Roundtree did against Pereira, I think that him versus Izzy is a very, very interesting fight. I think that would be a banger.
I have a couple. Since you sparked it, Israel Adesanya, Hamzat Chimaev.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. Gonna throw out the obvious one. Fucking John Jones versus Tom Aspinall.
Yeah.
Like
top of the list.
Out the way.
Top of the list. Yep.
If that wasn't on all three of our lists, I'd be very surprised.
I skipped that one just because I knew it was coming up.
You have to get it done. The same thing. Charles Oliveira, Islam Makhachev.
Yeah.
I want to say it.
Yeah.
But fun fights. I want to see Kyle Barrio versus Robert Whittaker.
Ooh, that is fun.
I want to see it.
Hell yes, dude. Hell yes. Kyle Barrio has. I think there's another fun matchup coming up too that is gonna blow the doors off of.
It makes sense. It just makes sense.
Makes all the sense in the world. I love that. Sean, who you got up next, brother?
What division?
If any.
No, I have a couple. I'm just thinking which division I want to go with.
We can go around the horn at least one more time too.
Yeah.
I got a bunch.
I have quite a few.
I would like to see Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes. I want to see it.
Nailed it. Yep. Check that one off.
In the women's divisions, there's not a lot that are like dream matchups currently, other than Zhang Wei Li versus Tatiana Suarez, which we finally are getting.
Yeah.
But like that's another one. Trying to think of I had a matchup. I don't have it written here. I had Anthony Hernandez with someone. Who did I have him with? Oh damn it! I had one that was really fun. Oh, I gotta look at the rankings. It'll pop up as soon as I see the name.
If you can't figure it out, just let me know because I got it. I know where you're going.
Yeah, you could just say it and then you go. I'll tell you if that's it.
Anthony Hernandez versus Shara Magomedov.
Oh,
he steamrolls them. He steamrolls them.
To the fight. Give it.
Yep. And then also the one that I was going to say too, because Gage sparked it. One more fight for Anthony Hernandez, and I think Fluffy versus Kyle Barrio is a banger.
Oh, banger. Absolute banger.
A row.
I was going to go with him versus Marvin Vettori. Marvin Vettori says he wants to fight some up-and-coming guys. He's pulling like a Neil Magny. And I'm like, okay. You want an ass whooping? Let's see how long you can take this. We're gonna see some.
That's right. I forgot about Marvin Vettori. He's at number 7, and Fluffy's at number 13 right now. That's
Fluffy
a good one.
Versus Brendan Allen's also nice. Like if
They
you're talking
are
two grapplers.
That one is actually that's a rematch. They fought in LFA or something like that. That one is scheduled, so that one's happening next.
Oh, they are fighting next?
Yeah, Hernandez and Allen 2 is. Damn it! I did the post for it. I can't remember the date, but yeah, that one's official. So that's the one we're gonna get next.
I have an absolute banger for you guys.
All right,
hit me with it.
Justin Gaethje, Ilia Topuria.
Oh shit! Given how Max Holloway and Gaethje went, I am not mad at that at all. I'm not mad at that.
I can't
like
watch Ilia Topuria take out another one of my legends. I can't let it. I want to allow it.
It's just such a good matchup.
Oh,
very good. Very good.
I want to see Islam versus Ilya. If he fights Diego Lopez and Diego Lopez tries to get him to the ground and nothing happens, and he fights Volk again. Like I want to see it. Honestly, what the whole thing about him versus Charles Oliveira, Ilya versus Charles Oliveira, I was like, that sounds fun. We get to see how good his grappling really is because Charles ain't gonna fuck around. He's gonna take him down and he's gonna try it.
Yeah. Like Charles will in fact fuck around and find out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And he's very good at winning those exchanges.
Yeah. Most often he finds out that he fucking wins.
Yeah.
Sean touched on it. Shavkat, Joaquin. I want to see it.
Very good one. Very good one. Piggyback on that, just to throw it out there. Oliveira versus Saryukian 2. Got to see that one because for obvious reasons, beating a dead horse. Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier 3. Rubber match. We got to Got to hash that out at some point.
Dan Hooker versus Dustin
Oh,
Poirier.
I forgot about Dan Hooker. What am I
Dan
doing?
Hooker versus anyone. Like, put him up against anyone. Sign me up.
You know what? We need to rehash this. Dan Hooker against Michael Chandler.
Yep, I agree.
Revisit that one.
I agree. I brought that up on one of the last year, one of the ending ones. That is people, because Dan Hooker got put out in the first round. Dan Hooker and Michael Chandler are two totally different dudes. That fight is absolute fucking chaos written all over it.
Moment of the year is Dan Hooker being a fucking psychopath on that stool.
Yeah. Ooh, I found one in 170.
Love that shit.
Love it.
I fucking love this shit.
Oh. Jack Della Maddalena versus Joaquin Buckley.
Good call. I was
Sign me up
similar.
for that. Sign me up. Oh.
I was going similar. My dream matchup for Buckley this year is Leon Edwards.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I like that. The other ones, I got some obscure ones too. Just to round it out, I want to see Alex Pereira versus Hamzat Chimaev in some way, shape, or form. Who else? I had this one prior to the Cyril Gane and Alexander Volkov, but I wanted to see Aspinall versus Cyril Gane. Not sure how much I want to see that one anymore. Obvious one that should have already happened a long time ago. Stephen Thompson versus Michael Venom Page. Got to get that one in. In the lighter weight classes, Charles Johnson versus Steve Urseg. I need to see that one stat. Especially if Charles Johnson gets another win. He's like 5-0 on a run. I think that one would be sweet. And then the last one that I have, super obscure, Josh Emmett versus Giga Chikadze. That one was scheduled for 2023 sometime. And never got it. I thought it was a dope one. I think we need to see that one. That would be cool. But that's all the ones that I got listed. Any others you guys want to throw out?
I have one last one, and it's just for fun. It's just a fun fight.
Mm-hmm.
I have Tai Tuivasa, Derek Lewis, Part 2.
Yeah, sign me up. I'm all in.
Why the fuck not? Ty's slumping. Derek Lewis is hanging out the back of the rankings, winning. Just fucking send it. Like, let's see fireworks.
Absolutely, make
until we
it
see
happen.
Derek Lewis take down Tai Tuivasa, and then the world's going on fire.
That's when we know it's over. Oh gosh, Sean, any ones you want to throw out there?
I was thinking Yuri Prohashka versus Carlos Olberg.
Very good one. I had Olberg on a couple of these that I removed. That's a good one.
We could put John Silva and Carlos Prates against a lot of people.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh, Carlos Prates against any of the strikers in that division. Fireworks, bro.
We didn't mention Moicano in it. Moicano's been a killer.
I was thinking it, but I was just like, where am I going to put him?
Yeah.
Moicano. And he's been hurting people, too. It's like...
Yeah, ever since that fight against Jalen Turner, man.
God damn. Yeah, like, who do you put him against? He needs to be up against someone that would be fun. Oh, he's scheduled for Beneil Dariush.
Yeah.
I think he might torch Beneil Dariush. Because
poor guy.
His chin seemed like it just went. Got KO'd his last two fights in the first round, if I'm correct.
I mean, eventually, I think we got to see Moicano against Charles.
That'd be sick. That ground exchange would be insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I like the idea of...
Especially after an easy money video. It was just so funny.
Yeah.
Charles, not so easy. And goes, I was like, It's just
I
fun.
like the idea of Moicano versus Dan Hooker too.
Moicano versus Patty Pimblett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think Moicano crushes him.
Yeah.
So it ends the hype. So it's like I want to see it for that reason. Sometimes
And the
killing hype
only other
train's
guy
good.
ahead of him, is Mateus Gamrot.
Yeah, he got hit with Dan Hooker pretty hard.
That, yeah. We got any final words, gentlemen? Anything else you want to throw out there before we put a cap on 2024?
Banger of a year for fights.
I don't know how we're gonna top UFC 300 anytime in the near future, but
Yeah.
hopefully 2025 tries their best.
Okay, you never know.
Yeah,
But
you know
hey,
that they're gonna try.
Again, we're gonna see entertainment.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If John Jones versus Tom Aspinall happens, like every single whoever wins the fight, like we're all going to be on the edge of our seats. Like that is the most anticipated thing in a long time. A long time we haven't had something.
They could build such a banger of a card around that fight.
Yeah.
Oh,
They could make it insane.
Sorry, dream card right now would be Tom versus John, and then it would be Poatan versus whoever, probably Jamal Hill, and then have put maybe the Conor Michael Chandler fight on that card, then put Renato Moicano against, if Armin loses, against Armin.
Ooh, that's a good fight.
Dude, you could potentially have ridiculous main card for that.
They throw quite a few of these dream matchups that we listed on there. It could very easily rival UFC.
I know that those are 5 could headline pay-per-view cards, but if you throw 2 or 3 of those on the main card and headline it John Jones against Tom Aspinall, you are going to make money because everyone's going to watch that. Or even if you just have Charles versus Islam 2 as the co-main.
Yep.
So many people are watching that.
So much potential. Could very well be one of the greatest cards of all time if they just tune into the Fight Pit, grab up our dream matchups, dude.
Hey, Uncle Dana, I wouldn't mind getting hired anytime soon.
Yeah. Dana, we are here. We are waiting for that invitation, sir. It's open-ended. We're here when you need us. All right, that's going to do it, gentlemen. Beautiful stuff. Excellent year. Thank you 2024. Thank you UFC. Thank you to all the fighters that made this year memorable, putting yourselves out there for our entertainment. We appreciate you. We love you. We're here because of you. Gage, Sean, Happy New Year, brothers. Pleasure to be here with you for another year.
Before we go, never mind. I'll say it after we wrap it up. Remind me of something.
Okay. That's going to do it, everybody, from us at the Fight Pit. We are closing the door on 2024. We will see you again soon for the first UFC card of 2025. Be on the lookout for that. Make sure you subscribe to the Fight Pit on YouTube. Follow us, the official Fight Pit, on Instagram. You can find all of us on that page as well. We appreciate you, all the new subscribers, all the old ones, everybody for the support. We will see you on the next one. Peace.
Soon as I go and I step in arenas, they call me the champ. They know what it is.